Happy Sunday. It's Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd. And I just wanted to show you that tiny cloud over there above the highway. What is this? Why is it there? It's not smoke, I believe, but it looks weird. So, hi. Max and I are on our usual Sunday morning walk, and it's cold. Not really that cold. -1 degree Celsius. Not sure what that actually is in Fahrenheit. I don't live in that temperature world. And it's blue skies and sun out. It's perfect for my mental health. And it's a perfect training opportunity for Max because I really want a dog that is reliable in all situations. And I guess that's not just coming by itself. I need to be the person who works on that, and that's what we're doing. We're stopping a lot, we're sitting, doing down, we're waiting. So our usual morning walks take even longer. But I am looking forward to sitting down at my desk with you maybe in an hour or so, I don't know. And yeah, have some topics that I want to talk about, touch on, like Russian roulette, suns and paper, and my new journaling tote. It's not new. I found it in my stash, but it's perfect. And yeah, I want to show all of that to you in just a few moments. So the first thing before I start talking about all the other things that I want to talk about is I want to compare these two ink pads. I used to use and still love using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I love how it stamps. The details on stamps come out really nicely. However, it bleeds through Tomoe River paper as well as changes the paper structure of Cosmo Air Light. I will show you what I mean by that in just a second. This is VersaMagic chalk ink in Midnight Black, and this is supposed to be archival, which means it's also waterproof. Dries on all types of paper, drying times varies, color fast, light fast, acid free, and archival. So it's supposed to be colorable. I used it for my currently inked video that I filmed yesterday, coming out next Saturday. So if you're on Ko-fi, you will see how it behaves in my currently inked next Saturday. Or if you're not on Ko-fi, you've already seen that video come out. So you can go there and compare. However, I had the idea to look at how these behave. And so what I thought is I can stamp this image here on, now I'm looking for my ink, this one, on really old, original, the Right Machine Tomoe River paper. This is Sanzen Tomoe River paper and Cosmo Air Light. And then we can see if there is differences in how it fares on the other side when writing on top of that impression, basically. So that's what I want to do. And I guess I'm starting with, I'm gonna use the Tomoe River paper first. And I'm gonna stamp VersaFine first. Let me grab a clip. I do not have one, so I guess I'm just using an ink bottle to weigh it down. So I'm gonna use VersaFine first. And I can show you what I mean by precise and crisp images. You can see that right here, actually. So this is the ink when it's saturated. Well, maybe I should give it another try. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna clean this off. Where's my cleaning tool? Here. I usually let these air dry and then wet them off again because I feel like they start smelling after a little while. I don't like that. And just in case you're not a stamper and you're not aware, if your stamp doesn't stick to the acrylic piece right here anymore, clean it with a tiny drop of dish soap and water and let it air dry, and then it sticks again. And that's what I'm going to do when I'm done with this here. So then this is, let's close this. This is VersaMagic. The consistency of the stamp pad is different. It feels more spongy. And you can also you're going to see that, see how fine the impression is. We can just try it one more time and see if it's going to be any different. Well, still, it's not as black. I don't know. I just love my VersaFine. If I could use that more everywhere, I would. Ugh. Let's put it right here. And then let's go here. If I wanted a better impression, I would just use like a mouse, not a mouse pad, this thing. This is a tiny cutting board, cutting mat. Helps and prevents these kinds of situations. So, okay, cleaning this again. It's more juicy as well. These usually also come in these dewdrops shapes. I didn't want a set of different colors and I prefer the bigger size, so that's what I got, but maybe you have seen them in these drop shapes. So, wow, messy. I'm gonna put this to the side and then we'll come back and color in and then also write on the back side. So, but if you are looking at just the Sans in paper, there's a lot more ghosting where it's very saturated. There might be bleed through. And so here as well, this is just, the VersaMagic sits on top of the paper. It doesn't seep into the paper. That's the difference between those. So I'm going to put this aside, and when I'm done with the video, I'm going to come back and try out all of the things. So this needs cleaning. This also needs cleaning. So let me put it aside. Oh, wow. There we go. So I talked last video about my wall that I would love to paint. I haven't even started the process, but I thought, well, before you paint, you need to make sure that you enjoy being in that corner with your Poang chair from IKEA. And I sat in there and put my lap desk on my lap, and it was so uncomfortable, like so bad that I decided, nope, that's not where I want to be right now. So I think I need a new chair for that. If you have any recommendation where you're not leaning back that far and like, you know, I don't want to have this, I want to sit more upright, drop them in the comment section down below. I'm on the lookout for a new chair. But that also means that if I want to not sit at my desk, I need to move to the couch, which is where Max, the puppy, is. And we are working on it very much, and it's getting so much better. But when he has his 5 minutes, nothing is really safe. And I need to be able to grab everything in seconds and leave or rescue my stuff. So I went through all of my totes that I have and project bags from knitting and such, and I found this. Let me get out a bit. Wow. Well, I put up the camera a little higher so you can see this. This is a small Patagonia tote that I brought as a souvenir from Hawaii. However, I've never used it until now. I pulled it out and was like, wow, let me see if this would work for exactly my purposes. And it does. Everything that I have in here is all the supplies that I would like to have with me when I'm journaling in my creative journal, which is awesome. I don't have to get up all the time to grab something else. It's all here. I can leave it in here and just take parts of it out. This is my pouch that I made myself with all the clips, some neutral washi tapes, some pens that don't fit in other pen cases, whiteout. Usually there's a glue stick in here as well, eraser, all the things that I try to use or that I need when I'm journaling. This is what it looks like. And then I have 2 more pouches. This I just recently pulled out again. I would love to stamp more, but if I have my stamps at my desk and put away all the way, that's why I'm experimenting with the stamp ink pad as well, then I won't be able to stamp. And so I have 2 stamping blocks. I will put the ink pad that I'm using right in here usually, and that's why I'm also carrying this stamp chamois with me, because I can also throw that in here and put it away. And then I just taken some of the stamp stamp sets that I'm carrying with me. I think I'm just going to go look through this maybe every other week or so and exchange them for some others so that I am using my stamps more. This works out really well. This is a Lihid Lab pouch. Not sure which one. I bought mine on Amazon. And this is my basically sketching kit, journaling kit that I use in my creative journal. These are all the pens that I use. I have a small palette from Art Tool Kit in here. I have a water brush, an eraser, 2 of these koi coloring brush pens so that I can add shading if I would like to, a water brush, a pencil. And then this is something that I'm experimenting with too. I added a gel pen to outline some of the titles that I'm writing. Here's the Hobonichi pen, my black ink journaling pen, and then I started carrying, instead of putting black ink in here as well, I have gray ink in here. So I have 2 different colors to journal. Now the only thing that I'm looking for is a permanent gray ink that looks like graphite. We'll talk about that in a while. I have this Nähe pouch, and I used to have a box on my desk with all the, ephemera that I would like to possibly use. And that is really hard to carry around with me, so I decided to just stuff it all in here. Wow, this is not closing. Then very essential is this empty notebook that I use as a surface for gluing things in. My friend Shauna shared this on her YouTube channel, and I was like, oh my god, this is so genius. She just puts the paper here, adds glue, and then closes it again. It doesn't, you know, I don't care if this is glued, if there's glue residue everywhere, that is perfect. And even if I'm trying something out, I can use that too. It's awesome, amazing. I have my traveler's notebook that I am carrying all the ephemera around with me. So this is a supplement to that. If I'm going even more minimally, I will not carry this. I will just carry that. So there is several sticker release notebooks in here, and then also my pouch that I'm filling in with some other loose leaf stuff. I'm experimenting if I want to have this in here. It's not elasticized on yet, because I would love to have everything in one TN. It would be cool if there was a TN size insert that was like this, which is the next thing that I have in here. This is a King Jim binder with sticker inserts. Like if something like this existed that you could put in onto elastics of a traveler's notebook, that would be like the best. And I'm just like thinking, what if the problem is if I remove this and then I don't like it, that's gonna be tough. But what if I removed these from here and put them in on elastics in here? That would be like the best thing ever. Well, so this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wait for comments and see if people know if something like this for a traveler's notebook exists. If it doesn't, I need to look up the price for this, but maybe it's worth it to experiment with it for science, you know? And if it doesn't work out well, then man, I wasted one of them, but not all of them. I really like this idea. Oh, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And then, of course, the last thing that is in here is my 2025 creative journal. So let me put everything else in there because I would love to show you how far I've come with my process so far. Last week, I felt like I was extremely behind, and I do not enjoy that feeling. And there's two things pulling in my head at the same time. One of them is nobody gets to tell me what behind means, and I can journal whenever I want to, whenever I feel like it. So I reject the feeling of being behind. But also, I really want to create in here. So I needed to create opportunities for myself to work in here more than I had been in the first 2 weeks, maybe 1.5 weeks of this notebook this year. That's exactly why I put together this journaling tote. Everything that I want to use in my journal on regular basis is in there. I do have a lot of other markers and pens, and you will see on the first page that I tried everything in there, but that is not sustainable in the long run. That's why I put one pen, one marker, that gel pen, into my carry pouch, the leather pouch from at Liebe, just so that I could experiment with what if I, swapped out some of the pens occasionally. Yeah. So let's look at this. I'm adding stickers slowly but surely. So I added this go outside and do things. I don't even know where I got this from. This is a Christmas card that I'm considering it got here this last week. I'm considering sticking that here. Need to trim it down a little bit because it's from my nephew and it's so cute. Dear Sherman family, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Best regards. And then all of their names. It's so cute. I'm trying to... Well, first of all, I tabbed this page so that I could find it more easily. I'm tracking orders over here. In and out mail is here, as you can see. I am not really good with my happy mail that I'm sending out to pen pals. Ugh. I'm sticking down stuff that I received from pen pals so that I can use stuff that maybe I'm not likely to use in my journal, or that was decorated, the envelope was decorated with. That is cool. I put one of my stickers here because it's also happy mail that got in. This page I still have reserved for my Techo Kaigi that I want to add here. And then this is the first page where I used all the things. And I love it. I love how it turned out. But I think I need to tone it down a tiny bit in order to be able to be successful. And then this is the different stages of finishing the spreads. I have some stickers here that I want to use. But these were the first 3 spreads. So that is 1 week. These 2 are 1 week. Then this is the start of the next week. And then this is the end of the second week where it's getting better. I have something that I want to journal here. I don't know if I'm just going to leave this open or not. Not sure. Maybe I'll find something that I'll stick in here later. And then this is this week. And I'm starting to see that I find my groove. What I'm doing is basically I'm relying on all the stickers that I have. I'm not going crazy and looking through all the things. I'm just using what I have. I'm going with my fountain pens, maybe just one. I'm going with my watercolor set because that is the easiest way to add color. And then I am, here I started trying to use up a sticker sheet. And so I'm just adding more and more. Here I tried to add texture. I'm not too happy about this, but again, I can just turn the page, and I can turn the page quicker than usual because this is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Thursday I'm going into the next spread. This is another new experiment, and I think I'm onto something. So what might happen in the end is that I'm just journaling as I see fit and disregarding the dates completely. I'm not sure if I'm able to, let go of that expectation that the journaling happens on the corresponding dates or not. But I did this yesterday, and it worked really well. I this is the Friday date. So yesterday was Saturday. Today is the 19th. I still have some space. Maybe I'm going to finish and add more today. Maybe I'm going to add more tomorrow. And so I don't know. This is how this feels. I really enjoy the thickness of the paper. I like that it crinkles a little, but not as much as actual, like this is Tomoe River paper 68 GSM. I don't know if it's Sanzen or old Tomoe River paper, but what makes, so I love everything about the thickness of the paper. I love the journaling. I love how this works. I love that I'm allowing myself to just do whatever I want, take up as much space, and just spread out even more. Maybe this would work on a blank notebook. Maybe I need this structure, even though it's not the corresponding date for it to work for me. I have no idea. I'm just noticing that maybe, I don't know. I think for now, I would like to try and stick to the dates as much as possible. You know, like all of the things that happened during these 3 days go on here, and then same here. I'm not sure how, like, what if nothing more happens? What if I don't need to journal more? Am I okay with the space that is left behind, the open space? I'm not sure yet. That's stuff that I'm going to explore as I go. What I do want to talk about and touch on, and I'm not sure if this is only happening to me in this journal, but what I'm noticing with all the new books that I have, everything that I purchased in the fall of 2024 that is dated for 2025, I am really anxious about using things on the paper because it feels kind of a little bit like playing Russian roulette. This pen is a Pilot parallel pen that worked extremely well here. There's no bleed through. Nothing happened on these pages. A tiny bit, but this is, you know, this is, for me, this is acceptable. Here, I put a sticker on the other side of the paper, and you can see how badly it bled through. And I think it only bled through and behaved differently. Let me pull this closer so you can see. It works fine. It works fine. This is where the sticker starts. It is a different coloration of the ink. And this is what I talked about earlier. I noticed that specifically with the ink, stamping ink on Cosmo Air Light, that the other side would behave differently because I put something on the right side. And this is the exact same thing that happened. So I guess the sticker glue somehow went into the paper and changed how it behaved with ink on that side. And I am kind of over that. And I don't know if maybe so I'm okay with it bleeding through on this side because then I can just sticker something here. So now I need to be careful with what I do on this side because there's glue on here. So when I write on this side, how will it affect the performance of any kind of media that I put on here when there's something stickered on here? And the problem is with this, if it's bleeding through and then it's, you know, I wrote here and it's going to be completely bodging what I did here, that's what I don't like. I can kind of work with this side because then I can just sticker something on top, you know, if it bleeds through to this side. But that's a really weird feeling, and I totally understand so many people's frustration with this paper. Because if it was like, okay, you tested it in the beginning and then it was like, it was bad from the beginning to the end, That's one thing. You can live with that, or you can change your planner before you even start. But if it's like, okay, this page is bad, this is not, it's really hard to not get anxious about something like that. And everybody and their mother knows that this is totally a first world problem. You don't really need to get anxious about it. But I really love creating in this, and I really enjoy how all these pages and spreads turn out. So this is really important to me. And when I like put work into this and time and effort and make it nice, and then I turn the page and put an ink there, and then suddenly there's this blob of stuff that is on this, visible on this side, that is, of course, that's a reason to get anxious. And I would love to know how you deal with this if you experience it. In this planner, of course, I cannot use just one page. But that's what I'm currently doing in my ink journal. Which that's what where I'm going next is I am using, this is reliable old Tomoe paper. So I have talked about this, I think, before. These are my small ink swatches by color family. I took apart the old Hobonichi that I used for this and punched holes and put it into this binder that I am also using. So here is the division to log my ink bottles. I don't see a reason to log samples, but I like having a page per ink bottle so that I can see how the ink looks in different pens. It's basically the reverse idea of this binder, which is where I can see how different inks perform in one specific pen. Writing samples of all of those. And then this is basically the ink, and then I have the same ink color but different pens and nibs on here. So and I've been filling this in as I go. I haven't taken the time to make a page for every single ink bottle that I have in my stash, and I actually also totally forgot to fill these in, so I need to find a routine where I update this. And so I thought we could update this together, as well as make pages for the inks that are currently missing still, where I have ink in a pen. So let's fill in and go through. These are all my currently inked pens at the moment. Yes, I think I said that last time. I kind of have a type. They're all blue. They're all blue and green. They're teal. It's the same color family. Maybe I'll take out these two. But even purple, well, I don't know. But this is odd. I never realized that I have so many pens in this specific color family until they were the ones that were left from my ink sessions. And yeah. So I filled this in last night. This is the Benu Talisman. Not Talisman. These are the pens that I need to clean. This one is empty. So I basically helped it to write. I pushed the converter all the way down, and there was still a tiny bit of ink there. So I could write this. So that is logged. This is so stupid. It basically dried out a little, so it says the ink flows so well in the pen. Well, yes, it did while I was using it, but I have put it into this glass like over a week ago, and so of course it's not writing anymore. So the Pilot Custom 823, and I think what I did is to write about how the ink performs in the pen. I don't really need to know if the pen is comfortable. That is something that I often do in my inky reviews. So the only thing that I need is something to put here. Well, why don't I just use that? This ink is flowing wonderfully in the pen. It has not dried out. Or darkened since inking in October. Okay, so this is that. I will talk about my 28 inks, 28 pens project for February too, and the struggle that I have with it. Well, it's not a real struggle, but it's there for sure. What else is there? So I know that I need to do Pannonia, Lamy Tourmaline, and Serenity Blue, Lamy Tourmaline, these three. And then I think I already logged, let's see, let's just go through it. Here, the Pelikan M800. This ink is a joy to use in this nib. It is wet, but still shows amazing shading. Great combo. Okay, this is done. So I actually placed an order with Rickshaw this last week. It's my birthday present for myself, because I really enjoy having my inked pens in this Sinclair. However, it's really tight. I have 12 pens inked right now. This one is a sample, so I'm not going to log that. Same with this one. This one is another sample that I'm not logging, so I don't know if I need to log anymore. This one is not necessary to be logged, I think. I'm not sure. These are all bottled inks. For a koozie case, which does not have the plush inside and no pen slots, but you can put the these pen sleeves in here, so that I can have all of my inked pens in here. I do have them in here right now, but it's kind of tight. So I'm really looking forward to that for its arrival, to see how it works. As I said earlier, I'm still debating on maybe using Rickshaw stuff as my permanent pen storage. No? So what else? This one did not, unfortunately, I did not write it down before I uninked it and send it away. So Lamy Tourmaline. So I need to have 3 papers out here. 1, 2, 3. So I took out 3 pages, and I have 2 pipettes and well, I can clean them. I have water right here. So the first one that I need is lamy tourmaline. And I also need my, maybe I should just take a sip of water first. This here, my look, there's another one, so I don't have to clean any of them. Okay, these ones are for later when we're going through the book, but these ones are the ones that I want to do. So I have lamy tourmaline, and every time I use this ink, I really like it and enjoy it in the pens. But when I'm never gravitating towards it when it's in my bottle stash. I always pass over it, which is kind of weird. So, how did I do this again? So I'm not using my bags. I started this with using plastic bags and doing the smooshing technique like Karina often does, or other people. The Snowy Studio, Clarissa, she is a pro at that. A lot of people use those bags now, but I am too lazy to clean my bags. So this method works really well for me. And this is a, I don't even know what you call this, snot remover thingy. Wendy Sue, what is this called? Where did you get this? I got this in a Happy Mail package from Wendy Sue, and I really enjoy using it for exactly this. And then I make grass. I don't even know if this is super necessary. I just like this as a divider between where I started writing my pens and the smudge in the awesome arty thingy majig on the top. I put flowers on here, of course, or leaves, weeds. I'm not sure this is necessary at all. So this is, now I would love to stay in the same naming convention, so I write lamy, tourmaline, and then let's put one more here. Oh, this is the first one. Wow, this ink is also very intense. I feel like it sticks, the color sticks to the nib. The pen that I have this ink in is one of my newer pens. This is the Benu Euphoria. What the heck am I saying? The Benu Daily Mate in Fresh Monday. No, not happening for me. So Benu Daily Mate Fresh Monday. And this is a medium Schmidt nib. All right, and even though I just inked this last week, I already know that the ink is almost too wet in this Schmidt nib. It feels a little out of control. But it's still lovely. So this is basically borderline. If it was any wetter than this, I would probably unink this and try a different ink. But this is just enough good. Wow. Let me move you down a tiny bit again so that you can come closer. Yeah, if this is just okay. It's not perfect, so maybe I need to try this ink in my Lamy 2000. I have found that I don't like lighter inks in that, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with the flow. Yeah, I still need to figure that one out. That's kind of a tough cookie. I changed it to a medium nib just recently, so I originally bought the pen in a extra fine, then I went to fine, and then I bought a medium nib, and I really like the medium nib on that pen, and I think that's the way that I want to go, but I haven't really found an ink that I like in there yet. So I'm not sure if other people experience similar things with the Lamy 2000s, or maybe I'm just too you know, I have too high of expectations. I don't know. But yeah, in my 28 inks, 28 pens, I definitely want to use a darker ink in that. Just because I want to see if that helps with my perception of the pen, or the dryness feeling, or the dislike on how the ink performs in the pen. And then I'm pretty sure I'll find something that will work. I haven't used a palette. I don't think I have used a Palette Hiroshi Zuko ink with this specific nib yet. Well, it's new. I haven't. Why is this not working? There we go. And maybe I'm not going to add the grass. I actually really like how this looks. Why don't I just write the name here and then call it done? I should do that. I should not, even though I really like when things are conform. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Yeah, I like this better. Blue. Yeah. I said prior to this that I would probably never ink Waterman Serenity Blue in a pen. I don't know why I chose to ink. This is unsettling. Every time I use this pen, it's already starting to come apart, come unscrewed before I open it. I don't like that at all. So yeah, I don't know what made me choose Waterman Serenity Blue in this pen, but I actually really like it. So this is the Admog M800 in, I call it teal. There must be a name, I don't remember. This is also a medium Schmidt nib, so this nib is exactly the same as this nib. I can show you that. The one is silver, I guess. The other one is gold. Just colored, not, you know, made from that material. Here you can see they're exactly the same. And maybe this pen needs to give some of his cap rotations to this pen so that they can both be really good to use. I never thought I would like this ink in a pen, but this combo makes me want to try it in other pens. Yeah, I have kind of an aversion to this type of blue because of school. But yeah, as I said earlier, as I just wrote down here, I'm impressed and like it a lot. So where does this one go? Down. And I totally see why I liked that line here, because it divides this from here, but I think this is totally fine. What do you think? Should I put my grass down here? The thing that makes me lean towards this is the fact that it is much easier to do, and I would rather have, you know, have that barrier of entry very, very low for these pages to be made. Now, for a really fun ink, let's do the last one here. This is Pannonia in collaboration with Amarillo Stationery. And I said this in my Currently Ink video as well. Eric from, I hope his name is Eric. You know how that sometimes works when you're like saying a thing and in the second it comes out of your mouth, you start questioning if that is actually correct what you're saying. This is happening with me right now. Just came out with another set of 4 inks that are based on his, and I don't know what that name is, his logo, his shop logo. The colors are taken from that, and they look really, really lovely. And as I moaned or complained and wondered in my my video then as well, oh wow, do you see this orange? Do you know why this is happening? What is this from? Why? What is happening here? I don't think that this is correct, but we'll see. Maybe this is when it's... What the heck? Sometimes I wonder if I'm just too stupid to use this. Probably. I'm not directing the correct air onto here. I have no idea what this is, but I don't think this is correct. Maybe there was something on the paper here, but here this is the same thing. Wow, interesting. I would like to keep my collection of ink bottles manageable is conflicting with I would like to support a small business that I think is amazing. So how do you deal with that? Monia Amarillo, Rosa Mexicano. So I might have not cleaned out the previous the pipette. I mean, this is correct, but this looks wrong and this looks odd as well. I'm just gonna leave it like that and pretend it never happened. um, I just had this thought with my, if I'm actually going to swap my whole pen storage to Rickshaw, a benefit of that is that I could slowly grow that collection, and I know that Amarillo also has Rickshaw stuff with their logo, and so that is a really great way, I think, how I can slowly grow my my pen sleeves. I think they're called pen koozies, in very small increments, and support those small businesses that offer them. So I actually have two here. This one is from Sugar Turtle Studio, and this one is from Venice, and it's a design by Anna from the Well-Appointed Desk, which is so lovely. And yeah, these could be kind of like small shop souvenirs, in the sense of that I, have something of them that is extremely useful to me, that doesn't break the bank. It supports them, which I think, yeah, I really like that. This is a reason why I might actually go that way. And also, I'm not investing a ton of money up front. So the other option would be a Toyoka Craft pen box. It's probably not going to happen right now, but even though I love how they look and I love how decorative they are, I don't really, the more I think about it, I don't want to put that into my shelves and put my pens there, to be completely honest. It feels like, it feels different. Let me think about what it feels like. And no shade thrown for someone else, but what happens to me often is when I put something into a box on the shelf, I forget about it. This is a Skogsy Choya. I call this Enigma Mint. The blank is from Enigma Stationery, and this is a double broad nib. Let me just use the reverse side. And I wonder if this has been tuned to write in the reverse, or if this is just how it comes, because this is amazing. I love... Okay, I'm gonna write in reverse. The blue undertones of this bright ink. It is very legible in this nib and flows extremely well. You will see an unboxing video for this pen on Wednesday, so it's already up on here if you're not on Ko-fi, where I said maybe I ordered this double broad nib specifically so that I can get it ground, but I think what I am going to do instead is use this as a play nib with my Pilot Parallels for inky messes, and keep it just as it is, because I love how this writes. And this gives me the option to, if I want to, use this with my regular writing and just use the reverse side and use the double broad side for big, bold statements in my journaling or in my letter writing or so. Yeah, so there's that. I'm a little bit annoyed that this is different, but trying not to care. Let's continue checking out the pens that I think I started yesterday, and then I thought, oh no, I can do this with my friends on the internet. So the 3 pens that I need to still check, and I think I filled them all in, is yeah, you might find that I have very similar inks all through the, like here. This is just a tiny bit darker. This is a little bit more blue Kujaku. So yes, I need to write this here. I think this is almost dry, so I can actually put this away then. This nib writes fantastic. With this ink. I am in love with the color, and I might have found a permanent pair. I really like how this flows out of this nib. I just, wow, 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 wow. This is almost empty now. Okay, let's just use this as a, whatever. Then, oh, look at how, that's what I like. So when there's more than just one, you can see how much drier this combination wrote, and how it worked in my Lamy 2000. So yeah, I want a dark ink in my Lamy 2000 next. I documented this already. This is Robert Oster's Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty. Talking about gray in a second. And then let's see if we have the Watermelon Tender Purple in here. This is another one that I completely forgot to write down. It's already cleaned out, so I'm just gonna not fret about this, and then when I ink this ink in another pen, I will just leave one space and put that next pen here. This is just going to happen if I am, yeah, it's not cool. Oh, there we go. This ink, man, I think I showed it to you before. The only thing is that I cannot find it right now. Yep, right here. Oh yes, I was stamping in here, that's why. Is Top 5 Inks of 2024, Watermelon Tender Purple. Actually, maybe right now, the way that I'm feeling about this ink right now, I would probably move it up even further. Because wow, 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 wow. So, I love how this ink performs in this pen. It's dark, and legible, but there is still some shading. So good. This is another one of those. I will come back to this pen and ink combinations multiple times. I don't think that you would call this magenta, but I love these, you know, when it comes through those lighter spots. Oh, so lovely. So lovely. And this is all. This is all I have in here right now. I don't think I'm going to write anything for this. I sorted those by alphabet according to the manufacturer. So I started with Colorverse, then Diamine, etc. And I'm going to just add more and more as I go. This one, unfortunately, is not an ink I still have in my collection anymore. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll just cut it out and use it as an ink splat in a journal page. That could be a cool thing. So the last thing I want to talk about, actually, let's stick all of those in here. What was that? Watermelon Tender Purple. Yep, comes right here. And then Pannonia or OPQF. Pannonia Pilot, so before Pilot. Pelican, LHJKLMN. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm just noticing that I'm counting I do in German, but also recounting the alphabet seems like I'm doing in German as well. Lamy. This is weird. The pen was called Pink Cliff, but people say that this ink is only called Cliff. Well. All right. So I have one more thing that I want to talk about before I let you go. And that is my 28 inks, 28 pens project, because I'm having a hard time. So, and then I want to show you, look at this. Isn't this cool? I just turned the thing around and did 5 strokes with each of the inked colors in the order that I put them here. And then when I got to the end, I did 5 and then 5 again and then went back and then did the same thing over again. And oh my god, I love this. Maybe I want to make my February title page like this. Don't know yet. So, and then I used this empty space to start planning my 28 inks, 28 pens, because yeah, I'm that person. I already took photos of this. I am already done with filming and stuff, so it doesn't really matter if there's writing on the back side. Same with this one. And this way I can use some of the empty pages, and I'm using the gray ink that I have in my pen, in my Sailor, and so I'm pretty sure that it won't bleed through to the other side. But I sorted, like, I actually did this at the end of 2024. I went through my sample box and just pulled out 28 inks that I would like to use, like that spoke to me. And then I sorted them by color so that I can have a rainbow, because I love rainbows. And so that's how far I got. And then last night I pulled them out, so they are going in this order. Last night I pulled them out and I went through them again using this color wheel. Not sure if it's going to be exact, but I'm trying to get close to these colors here. And then I wrote down the name of the ink, and then I started distributing pens to inks, but I am really having a hard time. I don't know what it is to, I have, so there's 28 inks, and I have distributed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, almost half of them. And I wasn't even sure that I wanted to do this because I'm having such a hard time to let go of these currently inked pens that I still have inked. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I know that there's nothing really wrong, but you know what I mean. It's like I'm excited. I actually even considered not doing it at all. And so that's why I pulled it out last night, and I was like, it was a test, kind of like the test of, what happens when I'm playing with these inks, when I'm sorting them by color? Am I excited about them? Am I indifferent? Is it, I could care less. This is what my pen case looks like, filled with all the pens that I have inked. They are 12, and it's tight. I can't zip it up without feeling like I'm going to break them. So I'm really curious to see how what's that called again? The koozie case is going to work out for me. But so I sorted through all of them, and I was really inspired and excited about them. So I wrote them down. Luckily, it is only, oh wow, I'm still exercising. That's cool. Luckily, it's only the 19th of January. So I still have, math is hard, 19, 29, 10, 11, 12 days before, only 12 days until my birthday. Ooh! So I only have 12 days before I start. And so it's not dire. I still have some time. I'm like, the thing that I'm struggling with is, do I want to use any of my specialty nibs, or is that going to, make me even feel worse about them? But also, I'm really intrigued by some of my specialty nibs again, especially after seeing the writing samples in my ink log. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I'm like not, that is still like pulling me back. Then many of my pens are still inked, like 12 are inked here, and these are 4 more that I need to clean, so that's 16. So they're not really in the forefront of my mind. So I have a hard time letting go of these. And then I'm like, okay, but if I want to do the February title page in a rainbow color thing like that, and I clean all of my pens, I can't do that. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? Yeah, I think it's still going to be fun, and I think I'm going to be very excited about it. It's another thing is that I'm trying to get to work really early, so I would probably have to get up at 5:30 every day in order to ink up this pen in the morning, which is what I liked to do when I did these challenges in 2024. So what? So what? So how is that going to work out? And what is the design of the page going to look like? I'm not able to be front and back and all of that. And I can just chill out. Now, there's some things. I just posted my 10 bold statements for fountain pens and inks. And I found that I have quite a few changes already. And I decided to, here's my monthly tracker for in and outgoing stuff. And I'm going to use this side of that tracker to write down all of those findings during the month. So I have 3 already. You know how much I hate light inks, but I'm finding that I like light inks in my Pilot Parallels more than the dark inks. So I'm actually gravitating towards Troublemaker Petrichor more than I'm gravitating towards, I think this is, where's that? Diamine Winter Spice. Diamine Winter Spice is such a fun ink, but I don't really want to use this. I'd rather have a light ink in here. So I'm more drawn to the Ying Piao, which is borderline dark. I'm really drawn to the Vinta Lakbai, the Troublemaker Petrichor, and the Star Spattered Hill, the yellow. And these others, they're not as cool. This one is different because it's so fine or so narrow. This is the Jinhao 1919 with the 1.5 millimeter Pilot Parallel. That is actually really good. So I thought I would just, you know, dump stuff in and then keep using them over and over again until they're empty. But I'm also seeing some preferences in the ink colors for those pens. So that's, maybe I need to do a Pilot Parallel currently inked as well and tell you about my findings for that. Could be a thing. That could be a fun other thing. It would also be helpful and cool if this was in my ink journal, because why should they not be documented in my ink journal as well? That's something. So I've went through so many efforts in 2024 to get rid of all the light inks that I didn't like, and now I'm like, I wish I had more light inks, more light blue, more of those chromo shading purples, because they work fantastically in these. Yep. And then I also said something about liking bottles more than samples. And that is still true, especially when, you know, using inks in my fountain pens. It's also still true that I don't really want to just randomly add samples over samples over samples. But I would love to find an ink, and this is not it, I believe. I showed you, I did this recently. This is an actual pencil, and it's much more gray brownish than these grays that I have. So I've been thinking of maybe I should find or look for samples that look more like pencil graphite in a Sailor Pro Gear Extra Fine. Bonus, if those are also waterproof inks, like maybe a Diatramentis document ink. So that is something that I'm super interested in, and that is something that I would actually, you know, go and spend money on samples to find that. And then maybe I wouldn't have to do anything with the other samples. Those I could, like, you know, send away to pen friends who would enjoy those as well. So maybe I do want samples, but I only want specific samples when I am looking for a specific purpose or color. And then another thing is that I've not been drawn to mixing inks. Like, I've seen my friend Katie from Katie's, why do I always forget your YouTube channel? Katie's Crafty Studio, Katie's Craft Studio, and Karina from Karina Loves to Plan did ink mixing. There's several people, content creators on YouTube who do that. And I know that there's others out there. I've not ever been drawn to this until wearing Gul Kyung-hee. I would love to try and mix a dupe. That's like, wow, that is super exciting for me right now. So maybe those are all projects that are coming up in the near future. Not sure. February is gonna be this and a lot of review videos of those samples and inks. But yeah, I think that's it. Let's color in the all of the swatches or inks or stamp pads and see what they look like. So interestingly enough, the longer you have this is drying, the more it comes through to the other side of the page. So it wasn't really bad in the beginning, but now it's worse. That is not an issue with Cosmo Air Light. It's barely ghosting, but I will show you what happens when you write on this. So maybe we can use one of those inks. Which one is Petrichor? This one. So can you see what happens here? It's like the surface area of the paper has been damaged with the ink that was put on here. And now let's see what it looks like on the other side. And exactly on those dots, this is where it bleeds through. It's really hard to see right now, but I can see it here. This wasn't here before. And the interesting thing about the archival ink, the VersaMagic, is that it, even after this time, which is quite a long time, it is still smudging. Okay, let's put ink on this side of this paper and see what happens here. I don't think it, yeah, see? That is why, even though the stamping impressions aren't as good with this one, I think I'm gonna not use VersaMagic in my journal anymore. There's no bleed through here. So I'm going to, I think I stamped twice on this one. So I'm gonna fill this ink and in with ink and color it in with water, with my water brush, so that we can see what it looks like there. But yeah, that is super interesting. I hope you can see this. I'm actually less concerned with how the front is than how the back is, because that's what I'm like the most, like that is then the surprise. Oh, fuck, what happened here? So here, okay, that's weird. So usually with the VersaFine, what happens, I can show this to you in my journal right now. Nothing happened here right now. Nothing happened here. And I'm 100% sure nothing will happen on this side. So let me show you the stamp things that are problematic. Okay, so maybe it's with water. Maybe we need to stamp again. So here I stamped the pen nib here with VersaFine. I then put in the ink. I used a water brush to spread out the ink and to like pull out some of the chromatography of this ink. And then when I write where I stamped, the ink, the nib, the writing gets bolder, much bolder, and it discolors. So this is without stamping, this is where the stamp is, and it's much broader and lighter here. I hope you can see that. Let me pull it up. Here and here, the D, the December here, and this happened throughout this this book. This is not a thing that was once. So what I started to do was stamp on the left side because I'd already written on this side. But for instance here, there's stamping right here. Look how the Pilot Varsity Vanishing Point, the K and the M look compared to the rest. I'm not sure that you can actually see that. And so I started, if I stamp here, then I would stamp here so that the stamps are on the same side and that the writing wouldn't be affected by it. But here, no, the Nagasawa Girsuke stayed the same. So maybe it's the water that I was using. I'm not sure. All right, so that's this one. And then let's do that and see how it does on this. So this is VersaFine. Same thing happens. It's like a resist, but the resist is actually, this is where the ink breaks through the paper and bleeds onto the other side. Well, okay, so that's then the difference between Sanzen and original Tomoe River paper. Here it just is like a resist, but it doesn't bleed through. And Sanzen, for some reason, bleeds through. So now this takes forever to dry, of course, but I wanted to show you. So here we have this, and then we have, it also started to bleed through right here. And this is even bigger now. So let's use this. This is both VersaMagic. Well, with a lot of friction, you can get some of the ink to smudge over here, but I'm gonna use my water brush, if I can find it. Where is it? This is creating shadows over here, and then we'll just, so if I go over here with the water brush, the stamping ink is not coming off. So that's definitely a bonus for sure. Okay, let's look what it looks like on the other side. Did not bleed through. Maybe we should color in the other ones as well. It doesn't matter if it's already just to see what happens. So what I'm going to do is not touch the spaces where it's already bleeding through, so that I'm not getting more ink bleed where it's already breached, basically, the barrier. But I just want to see what happens if I'm adding water here. Chroma shading is definitely different. Well, we know that, but I just wanted to point it out again. Doesn't seem to bleed through with the water. And then the ink journal, the old ink journal. And that's this one. Okay, let's see what happens here. This is one of the reasons why I moved from Cosmo Aerolite to Tomoe River paper. Well, actually two. You can see those two right here. So, where's the paper? This is cool. This is kind of science, but not really. Look at the different color of the ink on this paper. This is how it behaves. Even here, even if it's a little different, there is chromo shading happening, and it's very similar, but this is completely different. And then also here, I probably touched this with my finger, and so there is now a resist. Alrighty, okay, I think I kept you long enough. I hope all of this was interesting. I hope you had fun. I definitely did. This experiment I've been wanting to do for such a long time, and I hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.